Vande Shambhumumapatim Suragurum Vande Jagatkaranam Vande Pannagabhushanam Sesidaram Vande Pasunam Patim Vande Surya Shashanka Vanninayanam Vande Mukunda Priyam Vande Bhaktajana Ashrayancha Varadam Vande Bhaktajana Ashrayancha Varadam Vande Shivam Shankaram. Esteemed friends, Swami Vivekananda is called the Hindu monk of India. He is called the militant monk of India. He is called the patriot monk of India. He is called the cyclonic monk of India. He is also called the fighting monk of India. He is called the humanist monk of India. He is called the spiritual giant of India. He is also called the Brahminic monk of India. Western countries who listened to his wonderful lecture showered encomiums on him. He is supposed to have been born with the intellectual sharpness of Adi Shankara and the loving, compassionate heart of the Gautama Buddha. He is also supposed to have imbibed the nationalistic, patriotic fervor of Sri Ramachandra Prabhu, who declared Janani Janma Bhumischa Swargadapi Gariyasi. He is also supposed to have received the spirit of patriotism from the great Arjuna, who renounced the Swarga, gave up the offer of a high appointment in Indraloka, who refused the wonderful onward march made by Urvasi in love. Giving them up all, he returned to his brothers who were in the forest. Similarly, Swami Vivekananda, in spite of his extraordinary abilities and talents, returned to India for his fellow brothers. On the 11th of September 1893, when he became a global personality, when he was considered a messiah, he was elevated to the position of a prophet. That night, when the big people, the great people, the eminent people visited his apartment and showered encomiums, gave him gift after gift, when food in plenty of delicious taste was waiting, the man in him did not eat. He did not sleep. He rolled on the floor, wept profusely, and made two powerful statements on the 11th of September at 11 o'clock in the night, when all the guests had left him. One, him I call a Mahatma whose heart bleeds for the poor. And the other statement, him I call a Duratma, traitor, Drohi, scoundrel, who having been educated at the cost of millions and millions of poor people, does not think of them, does not live for them, does not have concern for them, does not serve them. They alone live who live for the welfare of others, the others are more dead than alive. These powerful, pregnant sentences were delivered by Swami Vivekananda. And this Swami Vivekananda is the patriot monk. He has made very many powerful definitions. We see some of them to interrelate them to elevate us, to present his character and ultimately the patriotic spirit. 1. Each soul is potentially divine. This is a very popular sentence of Swami Vivekananda. Each soul is potentially divine. The second sentence, he defines religion. Religion is the manifestation of divinity already in man. It's also his sentence. 3. He defines education. Education is the manifestation of perfection already in man. These 3 definitions or statements are interrelated, they are interconnected, they are similar. The first sentence is a philosophic sentence. Each soul is potentially divine. Unless a person puts some effort to understand its inner meaning, it's difficult. It's a spiritual statement or a profound philosophic statement. 2. Religion is the manifestation of divinity already in man. This apparently is a religious statement, meaning all are children of God, but it too has some thought very much filled in it. It requires a little application of our brains. The third statement, education is the manifestation of perfection already in man. If you take these 2 definitions, only 2 words change. Religion and education are interchangeable. Next, divinity and perfection are interchangeable. In the place of religion, we can put education. In the place of perfection, we can keep divinity. Divinity is perfection. And the means to get that perfection, the means to unfold that perfection, the means to rise to that state is education. And it is religion. And when we come to the first statement, it's nothing but soul. This individual soul becomes the cosmic soul, merges with the infinite. What is it that prevents our onward march philosophically? What is it that prevents our unfoldment religiously? What is it that prevents our expression of the hidden talent? Educationists are of the opinion that every individual is endowed with a talent. It is the responsibility of the educational system to spot out the talent. The spotted out talent is to be given a righteous training. The perfected talent is to be given a righteous direction for the welfare of humanity. Rather, ideal Indian educational system has 3 components. Number 1, identify the hidden talent in every individual, the spark. And that talent is to be brought to the surface through a training. And the perfected talent is to be given a direction for the welfare of humanity. In the ancient days, Vishwamitra wanted to perform a welfare activity in strict Sanskrit yajna. Yajna is welfare activity. For that welfare activity, certain things are required. Number 1, money, it comes. Material, if it is a hospital, a particular material. If it is an educational institution, another type of material. Third is men. Money, material, and the third requirement, men to run the show. If it is a hospital, doctors and nurses. If it is a school or college, teachers, etc. And the last, security, and that is discipline. India requires security personnel. Any hotel, hospital, college requires security personnel. Any educational training is possible through discipline. Sahanavavatu, may we be protected by discipline. Our ancient rishis made the prayer, the teacher and the student sitting together offered the prayer, Sahanavavatu, may we be protected by discipline. And that is the security personnel. Vishwamitra Maharshi, while performing the welfare activity, required the proper security personnel. He searched for the spark, found that spark in the young boy Sri Ram in Ayodhya, went all the way from his forest university in search of that spotted out talent, brought that boy under his care, trained him for full 14 days in his mobile Gurukul. He gave him 2 degrees Bala and Atibala, and then his archery, this perfected talent, is given a direction, that is to remove the antisocial elements and establish righteousness, yada yada hi dharmasya paritranaya sadhunam, etc. Vivekananda is of the opinion righteous education in this country should have these 3 components. One, identify the talent. The identified talent is to be given a righteous training, and the trained, perfected talent is to be given a good direction for the welfare of humanity, for the removal of the antisocial elements. In religion, when we come, there is the lot selfishness, materialism, sentiment, superstition, which are false. Through religion, we have to remove the materialism. Through religion, we have to remove that selfishness. Through religion, we have to remove the superstition. We have to elevate ourselves, chitta suddhi, nischalata, nirmalatvam, and then we come to a higher state of broadened outlook. Advesta sarvabhutanam maitraha karunayevacha nirmamo nirahankaraha. Bhagavad Gita declares that an ideally educated person has no hatred, has no selfishness. He is able to see, love everywhere, embrace everyone. When these 2 are well observed, automatically spirituality takes care of itself. The individual self merges with the cosmic self. Now, when we take these means into consideration, religious means and educative means, mere education may lead man to dry materialism. Mere religious education without the proper rationalism may land people in superstition and frightening fanaticism. Therefore, religion has to be educative in the sense it should be rational. Education has to be religious in the sense it should have love. When educative religion and religious education are imparted, then we attain the highest goal, the spiritual sublimity. Spirituality, religion and education are interconnected. Swami Vivekananda does not make them watertight compartments. For the harmonious growth, hand, heart and head. For the harmonious unfoldment, we have the advancement of action, emotion and intellect. When these are harmoniously advanced, there is the spiritual unfoldment. India is a land of spirituality. India is the beacon light. It is Jagat Guru, simply because Here in India, everything is spiritually oriented through right religion and right education. What are the hindrances for the onward march? There are three components. Number one, tamasic nature. Number two, rajasic nature. Number three, sattvic nature. Nature is twofold. Number one is the physical nature. The number two is psychic nature. In the physical nature, prapancha, we have the five elements: earth, water, fire, air, and the space. And in the psychological nature, there are three gunas: tamasika prakriti, rajasika prakriti, and sattvika prakriti. Whether it is education or religion, these two should aim at the removal of the tamasika prakriti first. And prakriti itself is feminine. தமிழ்ல சொல்லணும்னா இயற்கை. இயற்கைக்குள்ள இறைவன் இருக்கிறான். Nature has God in it, Ishvara in it, all through it. Spirituality is to unfold that Ishvara. If we use the Sanskrit term for woman or feminine nature, it is Stri. Stri is a collection of four small things, letters. Sa, sattvic nature; Ta, tamasic nature; R, rajasic nature; I, Ishvara. Stri has the three gunas and also Ishvara in it. Now, one by one, we have to transcend them, go beyond them through education, through religion. If we take the symbolic presentation of the same theory in the Ramayana, Jiva, Sita is imprisoned in Lanka, which is governed by the three brothers, Vibhishan, Ravana, Kumbhakarna. Kumbhakarna is eliminated first. Ravana is eliminated next, Rajas. And Vibhishana takes Sita to Rama and withdraws. This will be favorable for any onward march, for any adventurous rise, for the spiritual advancement, for the religious unfoldment, for the educational perfection. The first impediment is tamas. This tamas can be seen in indecisive nature, lack of vision, insufficient clarity, doubt, dilemma. If you find Bhagavad Gita, in the very first chapter, Arjuna is lost in despondency. He is in despair. He is lost in dilemma. He is in a state of confusion, kulappam. To fight or not to fight. What is dharma? Ahimsa paramo dharma on one hand, fight the evil on the other hand. Sishyasteham swadhimam swam prapannam. I am unable to decide Krishna. I am unable to have the clarity of vision, Krishna. Please enlighten. That is the beginning of the Bhagavad Gita. And that tamasic nature which is seen in the state of dilemma is to be eradicated, erased. If you take Swami Vivekananda, he is neither a theist nor an atheist. Theist is one who has faith in God. Atheist is one who does not have faith in the existence of God. He is neither of them. Arjuna is not for fight, is not for running away also. He is in a state of confusion. Similarly, in the earlier stages, Narendranath was in a state of agnosticism. An agnostic is one who is neither a theist nor an atheist. I do not know. Does God exist? Has anyone seen God? With that state of confused mind, he studied the books, searched for the people to enlighten him. By divine grace, through the instrument of Professor Hasty, he has been taken to Sri Ramakrishna, and Sri Ramakrishna with assertion said, yes, I have seen, I can show. With assertion, Shudram Hrudayadaur Valyam Tyaktotista Parantapa Kutastva Kashmalamidam Vishame Samupastitam Anarya Justam Asvargyam Akirtikaram Arjuna. There Sri Krishna asserted with all the vehemence. He has whipped him. He has exhorted him. He has asked him to stand up, girdle up his loins and fight. Similarly, Sri Ramakrishna, I have seen, man, I shall show you. At one particular point of time, Sri Krishna, as a proof of what he has said, tried to show his cosmic form. The man who is still in Tamasika Prakriti is scared of Vishwarupa. Arjuna says, I am sorry, Krishna, I am unable to withstand your cosmic form. Be back, be normal, be that ordinary Gopala. And when Sri Ramakrishna has touched Swami Vivekananda, he said, please withdraw, I have my parents at home. This is a Tamasika Prakriti. Fear, confusion, dilemma. And when Swami Vivekananda was on the rock at the southernmost tip of this country, Kanyakumari, he looked at the motherland. He found the people of India in a state of confusion, fear, indecisive nature, escapist tendency, slavery, poverty, ignorance. As Arjuna was in a state of despair and despondency, as Vivekananda was in a state of confusion, the same state was seen in the Indians. The immediate task of Krishna was to exhort, make him a man. The immediate task of Sri Ramakrishna was to make Narendranath a man. And the immediate task of Swami Vivekananda at the rock was to make Indians men. He said, he was there according to history on the 25th, 26th and 27th of December 1892. He looked at the motherland. He looked at his own brothers and sisters in a long nap, in a slumber, in a state of slumber, steeped in ignorance, living like the next door neighbors to brutes, to repeat his own phrase. And then the first time he shouted at the top of his voice was the lion's roar, the clarion call, arise, awake, stop not till the goal is reached. That was when he was on the third day. He made an analysis of India. Why did these people become slaves? Why is there a decline? Why is there a fall, a temporary fall? He was able to find 3 reasons on 3 days. Number 1, people in India, maybe princes, maybe priests, were tempted by flattery and luxury. The Westerner came with the Glasgow cloth, with the 7 o'clock blade, and he offered petty luxuries and he showered eulogy. The princes and the priests, the pundits of this country sold away this country to the foreigner. 2, there were people who were frightened. Maricha was approached by Ram. Do as I say. Take Rama and Lakshmana away. Let Sita be alone so that I can capture her. The Westerner came, asked some of the strong custodians of the society, leave Mother Bharati alone, you withdraw, else I will shoot you. Scared of death, Maricha obeyed Ravana, dragged Rama and Lakshmana away, Sita was captured, when the stalwart Indian custodians were dragged away, foreigner came, captured this country. Third reason, Karna was the son of Kunti Devi. The blood of Kunti, royal blood, was flowing in his veins. But he was not called a Surya Putra. He was everywhere called a Suta Putra. And this could not be swallowed by him. He was made an untouchable in the modern world. He was kept at a distance. Humiliation was heaped on his head. And this could not be brooked by him. Exploiting the situation, the politician Duryodhana came. He gave him a temporary social status. He was made Angarajyadhipati, a crown was brought and placed on his head, and Karna became Angarajyadhipati. The man who was considered a Sutaputra suddenly gained social status, and he was able to get some respect. Similarly, the foreigner came, the so-called untouchables, masses. The people were called John, Victor, Paul, Peter. A hat was given, a shoe was given, a necktie was given, a social status was given, and they have become the enemies. Some were tempted by flattery. Some were scared of the threats. Some other people were drawn into the net of the foreigner because of our weakness that we have kept the children of a mother Bharat at a distance. These three reasons were found by Swami Vivekananda when he sat in meditation at the southernmost tip of this country on that rock. And now the remedial measure, the immediate remedial measure is that tamas to be removed. In Arjuna, tamas was removed theoretically. In Vivekananda, theoretically the tamas was removed by Sri Ramakrishna. In Indians, by the powerful lectures, Swami Vivekananda was able to remove tamas theoretically. There is the practical aspect. On the 13th day of the Mahabharata Yuddha, Arjuna has entered into the dynamic field of warfare, giving up the tamas. And on the 13th day, when his son was lost, Abhimanyu died. That night, Arjuna goes to Krishna, falls at his feet, and tells him, Krishna, kartum akartum anyatha kartum shaktaha. You are capable of doing and undoing everything. Aghatita ghatana samardaha. You are capable of doing wonderful things. My son Abhimanyu is dead, and I want him to be back. Provide life back to him was the request of Arjuna. Then Krishna tells, Arjun, Jatasya dhruvo mrityuhu, that I told already in the Bhagavad Gita. Whoever is born is destined to die. His days are over and he passed away. Nothing can be done. No, don't say it. You are capable of bringing the dead back to life. That you did in the case of Sandipani's son when you were at the Gurukula of Sandipani Maharshi. As Guru Dakshina, you brought back the dead boy, the dead son of Sandipani, and you gave him life. So you do the same thing to me. Tamas comes up as attachment. Any amount of theory we speak from the platform, any amount of theory we understand when we are in the audience listening to a discourse. Sri Krishna's wonderful philosophical discourse to drive away tamas was absorbed by Arjuna, and at the end Krishna tells, have you understood the lesson? Yes. What is it you want to do? He gives the nasto moha smurtir labdha sthitosmi gata sandeha karishye vachanam tava. I am after all an instrument. Moha is dispelled, tamas is driven away, no more attachment. I am now bubbling with enthusiasm, dynamism to do anything to fight the enemy out, to throw the enemy out. Such dynamic Arjuna, on the 13th day, fell a prey to despondency once again when it comes to practice. We can see in our practical life, Sri Krishna pleaded with him again and again. All his words were useless. Then he wanted to give him a shock treatment. Arjuna was asked to enter the chariot. The chariot was driven by Sri Krishna, Parthasarathi. A few kilometers it went on the road, and he suddenly applied the brakes. The chariot was transformed into a helicopter. It went to Chandraloka. In the portico, the chariot was kept. To the window, Arjuna was taken. He was asked to look through the window. Abhimanyu was seated on an elevated throne. A beautiful girl was seated by his side, Rohini. 26 stars were making a wonderful dance performance, and Arjuna was asked by Krishna to go in and bring the boy out so that they could return. Arjuna went, looked at Abhimanyu. The moment Arjuna went, Abhimanyu placed his finger on the nostril. I find the smell of earth here. I find somebody from the mankind coming here. This is Devaloka, Chandraloka, this is America, this is England. How is it somebody from Chennai comes and disturbs me with his waist? He felt, who is that? Me, your dad. What nonsense you speak. You have acted in many dramas, I have acted in many dramas. You might have played the role of a father in many cinemas, I might have played the role of a son in many cinemas. In which drama, on which stage, in which theatre you played the role of my father, in which I played the role of a son. Arjuna was telling, just today you were dead. Don't talk nonsense. How dare you come and disturb this precious night of pleasure for me? Will you get out or shall I throw you out? Then Arjuna felt the rude shock. He came out. What Krishna's discourse could not achieve, the shock treatment meted out by Abhimanyu was able to do. Arjuna came out and Krishna teased him, where is your son? Oh, no nonsense, no son, nothing doing. I am a man of action, I am a man of dynamism. Come on, let's go back to Kurukshetra Yuddha and fight. Similarly, Vivekananda as Narendranath. Theoretically, he was excellent. There were wonderful conversations between Sri Ramakrishna and Swami Vivekananda. Swami Vivekananda's name came much later. Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa did not know the name Vivekananda. It was only given to him on 31st of May 1893 when he was registering his name to go abroad. Till then he assumed many names. Vivekananda's name was not known to Sri Ramakrishna. It was only Narendranath. When Narendranath was a student of the law college, his father passed away, Vishwanatha Datta passed away. Whatever rice was available at the time of his passing away, that was the only rice which they ate for some time. Afterwards, they didn't have enough food to eat. Those people who lent money to Vishwanatha Datta demanded it back from Narendranath. Those who borrowed money from Vishwanatha Datta did not bother to return it. Even the house in which they were living, it was in legal dispute. As per history, Swami Vivekananda had 7 days continuously without food. Every day he used to go home late. If he wanted food, somebody would be deprived of the food at home. Such miserable. A man with such a pathetic position, he tried to get a job and no vacancy board heckled at him everywhere. A graduate, an intelligent man, a boxer, a singer, an orator, a gymnast, a wrestler, such a wonderful personality was unable to get a job. Then he went to Sri Ramakrishna, as Arjuna went to Krishna, and then said, I want a job. This is very simple. I don't want you to get a job, Sri Ramakrishna says. Then, at one point of time, he was so adamant. On a particular Tuesday at 9 o'clock, he falls at the feet of Sri Ramakrishna. Please recommend my case to Bhavatarini. Sri Ramakrishna says, go yourself and ask. He goes, and then the story is he was unable to. Second time, third time, and it was there he opened his mouth. Ma, grant me viveka, discrimination. Ma, grant me ananda, bliss. Those two words were uttered by him in the presence of Bhavatarani, and Bhavatarani said, Bhava is this world of attachments. From this world of attachments she takes us away. She gave him a rude shock. Come out, man. I wanted to marry Lord Sadashiva. I went in richly ornamented clothes, rich costumes with all jewelry. Vasanta accompanied, Manamadha accompanied. Shiva opened the third eye. They were all reduced. This is not the way to win Lord Shiva. What he likes is tapas. Let me resort to tapas. From Himalayas I moved to Kanyakumari, stood on a single foot and did tapasya. The same Shiva came to me. Similarly, man, as long as you have the attachments, they may not come to your rescue. Come out of your shell. Come out of your kith and kin. Come out of your tamasic nature. And Vivekananda got the coup. After Sri Ramakrishna passed away, he became a Parivrajaka Acharya. Tamasika Prakriti is now dropped from Arjuna, from Vivekananda. And now Rajas. This Rajas has few steps. One, even for making money you must be dynamically active. For social service also we must be dynamically active. But unfortunately when we are involved in the dynamic activity, there will be a new ego springing up. 18 days Mahabharata Yuddha came to a close. He was given proper direction. And the last day, he was a little intoxicated Arjuna with ahankara. I am victorious, I am triumphant, I am Vijaya, Krishna, take the chariot back. Let me go round Kurukshetra Yuddha to see how many people have been killed by me. And Sri Krishna looked at him. The man is getting intoxicated, the alcohol of egoism is going to his head. And the man went round. At the end of the Kurukshetra field, there was a tall tree on which there is a man seated. Arjuna asked him to come back. He had an instrument in his hand. What's your name? What are you doing here sitting? My name is Barbarika. I have an instrument to record all the events of this Mahabharata Yuddha. Then Arjuna asked, I did not carry a looking glass mirror. I must have been very ferocious while fighting with Drona. I must have been like a lion while fighting with Bhishma. While cutting the throat of certain people, I must have been very, very dynamic. How bold I was, how daring I was, how courageous I was, how lion-like I was. I could not have a photographer to take a photo. Now that you have recorded it, please show it. I would like to see my face, how it was when I did all these adventurous deeds. Barbarika says, sorry sir, in my recording you don't have a place. Then who is there? Only Sri Krishna Natana Sutradhari, producer, director, actor. Then his egoism came down. Similarly, you find Vivekananda given direction by Kanyakumari. Be dynamic, do tapasya for the welfare of human country. He went abroad, 11th of September. Vishwa Mata gave him the wonderful direction. He found all the people there to be his brothers and sisters and brothers of America. He said, it fills my heart with joy unspeakable to raise in response to the warm and cordial welcome which you have given us. I thank you in the name of millions and millions of Hindu people. I thank you in the name of Mother of Religions. I thank you in the name of ancient order of monks. Wonderful speech he delivered. Went to England and European countries, came back to India. Like Arjuna, victorious is Vivekananda. He went to Kashmir. He was in Kshir Bhavani temple. He had the vision. The temple was in a dilapidated condition. Mlechas, foreigners came, they destroyed some parts of the temple. Then Vivekananda said, in the vision, Ma, had I been alive at that time, I would have protected you. Mother said, my dear boy, do you protect me or do I protect you? Then Arjuna became normal. What I am trying to drive home here is, tamas is to be shed, dynamism too should be shed with the activity, not with attachment. The moment there is attachment to the dynamic activity, it appears to be a line thrower, but there is selfishness. There is egoism. Arjuna is now made an instrument, nimitta matram bhava savyasaj. And Vivekananda has become an instrument. He came back to India. He established the Ramakrishna order. He exhorted the Indians, be not tapasik, be not rajasic also with attachment, be instruments. That is the message of Lord Sri Krishna. That is the message of the ancient masters of this country, rishis. Let us rise to that great heights, then only it is our swadharma. Swadharma is to rise from tamas to rajas to sattva, and then we become transparent, then we become selfless, then we become instruments, and then naturally we will be the great custodians of Mother Bharat. The patriotism has spirituality as an undercurrent. Patriotism has religion as an undercurrent. Patriotism has education as an undercurrent. Swami Vivekananda's message is to make everybody a super element of powerful patriotism, and that patriotic monk's spirituality is to be understood, religious fervor is to be understood in the right way, and his educational onward march is to be understood. They are all interconnected. If only we can train ourselves to overcome these three gunas, STR, sattvic, rajasic and tamasic qualities, Ishvara shines. When once that Ishvara shines, it is spiritual illumination, it is religious sublimity, it is educational perfection. Therefore, when we follow the footprints of Swami Vivekananda, it's a harmonious advancement of action, emotion and intellect with the spiritual sublimity. May we all be blessed by Swami Vivekananda so that we can become powerful, patriotic monks in the spirit of Swami Vivekananda's message. Thank you very much.